All right, we
We don't need to do that. There's not 2 cameras.
okay.
So I've called you back into the studio, Rob, to answer charges of being an Aikido hater. I've received lots of emails, Facebook messages, tweets, attacking me for knowing you,
Right.
renowned.
You're guilty by association. I believe that's how it works.
Yes.
That's the way the law works.
So defend yourself. Aikido.
Yes.
Discuss.
So, unfortunately, Aikido is a very easy example of, I believe we had a conversation in the past about LARPing, about martial arts that are not particularly effective because they don't involve live sparring or testability, pressure testing, anything like that. And just the sort of comical element of people lunging at you and flying through the air when you barely touch them makes them an easy target. There are things I definitely admire about Aikido. There are the primary...
The flowing dress?
The flowing dress, yes. I mean, if you can't wear a kilt, you gotta wear the... I don't even know what it's called. There you go, hakama. Aikido has a beautiful moral philosophy behind it. I suspect that that's why so many college students take Aikido, is because of the whole theme of nonviolence. And the idea, as I understand it, the original idea behind Aikido was that when somebody attacked another human being, they were stepping outside of the flow of nature, and therefore they were already defeated. Unfortunately, the real world doesn't quite work that way, but it is a beautiful idea, and some of the wrist lock controls can be quite effective, but I think even the most ardent supporter of Aikido would agree that you would have to train in it for many, many, many years before you could pull off anything like they're trying to teach you to do. Whereas a realistic martial art like boxing or Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you're talking about a few weeks or a couple of months before you can effectively apply what you're doing, and you can apply it against more intelligently trained resisting opponents, whereas Aikido really only works on drunk idiots.
Yeah. I'll throw one more in there. Yes, anything works on a drunk. And many of the examples that you come across of bouncers using Aikido, well, they're doing it on a drunk and they're usually bigger than the guy.
Yep.
Also cops, many of the wrist locks and elbow control are coming from a cop. But the bottom line is, how hard are you going to fight back against a cop? Basically, just wants to move you out. You know that the next level of escalation is, I was in fear of my life and put 12 bullets into you.
Exactly.
And pepper sprayed you and then tasered you.
Particularly depending on the color of your skin.
Yeah.
So, well, at least in some parts of the world.
Mm-hmm. So I think there's often, it's a strongly unequal situation. Either one person's drunk and the other person's not drunk. One person's much bigger. I mean, having tried many, many Aikido wrist locks in Jiu-Jitsu.
As have I.
Yeah.
And especially at the beginner level, I managed to occasionally catch somebody with a Sankyo from inside their guard and thought that I was a brilliant genius for doing it, when really I was abusing somebody who had inferior knowledge to me.
Mm-hmm. Also, I think it's a lot easier. I mean, I've managed to wrist lock small children rolling with them because my hands are about 10 times stronger than their hands. So there's a much larger physical attribute discrepancy required.
Well, perhaps we can then leave this conversation by saying that Aikido, the martial art for priests.
Yeah. Fucking
Snap! There you go. There's another demographic out the window. Anyone that believes in God.
Okay, cut. I don't. Fucking God.
He's not really meaning what he's saying. Moving right along.